Well, I am so thrilled to be here with Jim VandeHei, who has been an outspoken leader in news about what is to come. So, Jim, thanks for joining TITV to tell us about your latest manifesto, if you will.
It's always a treat. Good to see you, Jessica.
So you wrote this week that we have entered the post-news era. This is a little jarring as a news person, but tell us what you meant.
Yeah, I mean, you have the perfect name, right? It's much more about information now. And if you think about the individual, 20 years ago, 10 years ago, maybe even 5 years ago, most of how they saw the world was shaped by news, right? But now news is a part of it, but it's also by the podcasts you listen to, the videos that you watch, the people who show up in your social media feed, your social circuit. And to me, this is a huge, huge, huge shift that most companies and most individuals have not grappled with. It's no longer like red America, blue America, or we have like a couple of information bubbles. We might have millions of information bubbles where really smart people in close proximity to each other could have pretty different realities based on where they're consuming their content, right? So if you and I could both play this game. If you told me how old you are, what you do, what your politics are, I could probably tell you where you get the vast majority of your information. And it's possible that you could be sitting with somebody and they're on a platform you never visit, right? They're trusting people you've never heard of, following topics that never really come across your radar. That's wild. That's different. And that has huge, huge, huge political consequences and massive, massive business consequences.
And have you seen something lately that you think is exacerbating this? I mean, I think you connected it to filter bubbles, but, to the nth degree. But I wonder, in running Axios this year and in all the conversations you have, are we at some kind of inflection point of acceleration, or is this kind of just calling a moment that we've been late to call?
I think we're in, listen, I think as long as you and I have been talking, we've been in this hyper volatility world. And I think it's about to be put on steroids. I think I'm highly confident that in the next 12 to 48 months, we're going to go through a massive platform shift that will move from kind of web and search to something that is LLM based. And you have so many different choices. You have really high quality content coming from people on YouTube, from people with podcasts, from people with sites, people with Substacks, people like you and I with companies. That means that the whole mix it's just different. It is like, that's why I say it's post news. And I think most people don't think of news like you and I do because we got into the business. They just think about, how do I get informed? Like, how do I take inputs so that I can make really good decisions? Unfortunately, there's a lot of pollution. I think there's more good. The paradox of the moment is there's more good content than at any point in humanity, and there's more crap content than at any point in humanity. Yeah. And for those of us that can make really healthy choices about the inputs, I don't know about you, but like, I feel like I have almost a bionic brain these days because I know who to follow. I know what to read. I know who the smart people are. I know what the right publications are. I feel like I have more visibility into more things than ever before. But we're also in the business. We know these people. We've hired them. We fired them. We've read them. We've worked at these places. So we were able to do that. And what I hope to do with Axios is like help other people try to get to this approximation of a more bionic brain. Like, get rid of the crappy stuff, put in the really good stuff, and you can make much better decisions. Like, think about even for you and I, like 5 years ago, 10 years ago, if we wanted to know what the smartest people in the world thought, like maybe once in a while we got them on the phone, but now all of us have access to it. All of them are doing podcasts.
Well, we know what they want us to think. So, I mean, I think this is part of your theme of being post-news is we're also in full-on propaganda. We're also in full-on, storytelling. We're in the era of don't let the facts get away of a good story, with some of the most powerful people in the world. And it's not one, it's many of them, right? I see it in the technology industry every day. And so I wonder what's the prescription or recipe for news organizations, right? That are on one hand fighting that propaganda, but also, have to face the reality of declining trust and, even declining visibility. And I want to get back to LLMs too, but that's a long enough question. So.
I think listen. You hit the nail on the head. It's a massive problem for some business models. But I think what you have to do is you have to do what you're doing, what we're doing. You have to tighten your relationship with the consumer. Like you have to have this relationship of trust between you and the people consuming your content. And to deliver that, you have to have distinctive content. You have to have distinctive reporters providing things that no machine can provide and that their competition can't provide. And what I think will happen, like you and I spend a lot of our time thinking, what does the world look like in 18 months? From a
Yeah.
news perspective, I think that if you have a company like yours, a company like ours that are built around expertise for very distinct audiences, I firmly believe that that content is going to be worth 5 or 10x in the new world order what it is today, because everyone else is going to have equal access to general high quality information at their fingertips on almost any topic. What the LLMs and what the individuals will pay for is human nuance, human expertise, human experience, analysis and insight that is distinct from people who've been looking at these topics, talking to the people person to person. I think that soars in value. So if you're you or us, I feel good. If you're producing generic commoditized content, I felt this way for the last 10 years. I feel it more powerfully today. You're screwed. There's not going to be a market for that. The
I
LLMs
printed out the crap trap. So this was this I don't know if people can see here, but 9 years ago, Jim wrote in an op-ed for The Information, probably one of our first op-eds, that digital media companies are caught in the crap trap, mass producing trashy clickbait so they can claim huge audiences and higher valuations. And I think you call it, I had to, this was largely a social media story at the time, right? The social media companies were the distribution channels du jour. And so anyway, everyone should check it out and we can link to it. But it was prescient to say the least. And you also nailed the rise of video, which, here we are. So obviously that's happened. But I wonder, I couldn't agree more with everything you're saying. I mean, one thing I've been toying with in my brain is, or just struck by the rising cost of getting to the truth and doing what journalists do. You talked about how, there will be value in being specialized, but I think, whether it's just the fact that there's so much obfuscation, so much propaganda, if you survey 40 editors at top publications, 40 will say their legal budgets are significantly increasing. The topics are getting more complicated, so the level of reporters you need is more specialized. I wonder what you think of that, and does it play into who wins and loses over the next 5 years?
Well, I think about the cost thing differently. I agree with you. I agree legal costs probably go up, and I think the cost of talent goes up. I think the cost of everything else drops precipitously. We're doing
distribution, all that.
Everything. Listen, we're not a technology company. We're not necessarily a marketing company. Like all of the stuff that sits behind me creating content and you consuming that content, all of that can be automated, and I think will be automated in the not too distant future. That takes down a massive part of our cost structure. I'm sure if you looked at my budget, I looked at yours, we allocate a similar percentage to talent because we're talent-based organization.
That would be a lot.
Yeah, but you want to squeeze that other side so you can put the money in the other place. So I think that I think it more than evens out. I think these become better businesses that you can run on better margins. But they are really going to very specific people who have like a real desire and demand for high quality content, which isn't most people. It's not going to fix a propaganda problem. It's not going to fix a manipulation problem. And and I know that problem is going to be 10 times as bad 18 months from now as it is now. Every new technology, even if it ends up in a beautiful place, we're going to go through hell. Like this spin that the idea that AI is just going to be nirvana, we're all going to be sitting home not having to work and we're learning poetry might be true 10 years from now. It's bullshit. In the short term, it's going to have real pain for jobs. And it's going to have real pain in conversion. And most humans, when they get a new technology, use it for perversion, and foreign actors use it for perversion. And so we're going to have to grapple with all that. I believe on the other side of it, it could be big, could be beautiful, but there's going to be real tumult in between there.
Okay, so last question. You're a news org. like the information or Axios, you see this AI train coming. What do you do?
I mean, I think what we've done is we try to get ahead of it, like you, like we know these companies, we know the principles. And so we've really, a year ago, I had a speech to our staff and I said, I know you're worried about AI. I know you think it's going to take your job. From this day henceforth, I don't give a shit. Like, I'm going to equip you as
I'm
best
going
I
to take your talking points, Jim, and just see how they
No,
fly.
it's a good one to have. I tell all CEOs they should do this. People don't
Yeah.
want to talk about it, but just
Yeah.
tell your people, like, listen, if you can't take AI in any technology and make it a force multiplier of the work that you do
Yeah.
and do it right away, it not just here, you're not going to have a job anywhere. And so what I said is like, that's the reality. We gave everybody a free license to use OpenAI as much as they want to be able to use it, the industrial version. And then we said, listen, I want you to spend 10% of your day just figuring out how to use it to do the specific work you do. When you have a win, share that with other people here that do the job that you do. And then together, we can at least try to come out and in the best possible position on the other side of it. And I think that's what every company should be doing. It's certainly what I assume you're doing. It's what we're doing. And that doesn't mean it's not going to be scary. It doesn't mean it's not going to change the nature of work. It will. It doesn't mean it's not going to eliminate some jobs. It will. But I think the smartest thing you could do is be eyes wide open. The minute you think you can utilize it, utilize it. And ultimately, I think it helps on the back end. The stupid bet being made right now, I think, is like all these companies investing in producing actual content for the consumer using artificial intelligence. Like your LLM garbage spitting out something to the consumer might work in the short term, maybe. I don't think it will, but it's not going to be useful in the future. And like video made up because you have like some AI techniques built into it. I just don't see how that's going to have value because the machines are always going to do it better than any media company can. So figure out what do you do better than anyone else and no robot can do. And if you do it better than anyone else, you will be able to extract value. You've done it. We've done it. Others will do it. It'll be different. It's not going to look like the media landscape of the past, but whatever, that's life.
Yeah. Well, I love it. And I'll just add too that I think publishers have to hold their own ground and recognize that there, in my opinion, aren't really yet benefits to licensing these content to the LLMs for the same reason. There aren't the products that you can even say would justify the distribution and the money and the growth and the reach from partnering. So
that one we might disagree because we've done a deal with OpenAI. I think it depends on the economics. Just know what the other company's trying to get out of it. Are the economics good enough for you based on what you think the future will hold? I think I'm right with you. I'm with you usually philosophically on this because I think one of the dumbest things that media companies did was tether their future to social media companies giving them deals to do content deals or video or shows.
I mean, it was destruction. BuzzFeed News doesn't exist, right? I mean, I was like, we wasted a decade. Yeah.
No other company, no other industry would outsource their destiny to a third party's benevolence. That's stupid. You can't do that. And I think that's where people have to be thinking about if the deal's great economically and you think it pays off over time, do it. But also understand that we don't know what it needs yet. We don't know if having no deal puts you in a better position to be able to provide distinctive content through an LLM or sit outside of it.
And I just got to tell you, Jim, sitting out here in the Valley and talking to these companies, they don't know what they're going to be yet, these AI companies. Are they research labs? Are they product orgs? Are they in the subscription business? Are they in the advertising business? Are they search 2.0? Or are they something else? So a caution to publishers, shall we say. But Jim, it's always a pleasure. We've got to do this more. Thanks for joining us. And everyone should check out Axios to see where you wrote more extensively about these thoughts this week.
Awesome. And congrats on all your success and happy holidays.